Hi, Damien here for Automotive Superstore, and as you can see today, we're not in the studio, we're in my workshop actually. And that's because this is the first in a new series of videos I'm going to be doing for Automotive Superstore. A little bit different than we've done before. I was in the office the other day speaking to the bigwigs and they said, you know, you should go and buy a car and build it as a project. And you can kit out the car, you can do some maintenance and you can do some performance modifications and some detailing and some audio and all kinds of stuff to the car. And I went, sounds like a great idea. So they said, off you go, go shopping, find yourself the car that you want to build. It took me about 2 minutes actually to work out what I wanted, and I said, boss, I'll have an Audi TT RS, please. It's 5-cylinder, 260 kilowatts, all-wheel drive, great track car, great daily car, suits me to a T. He said, how much is this thing? And I said, well, 60 grand. He's like, no way, mate. What do you want, crack? Okay. So there was my challenge. I wanted a TT RS, but I only had half the money, half the budget. I started looking for cars that were going to do the things I wanted to do. I needed a good daily driver that was comfortable, sporty, fun to drive, easy to work on, lots of tuning parts available for it, and something that would work really well at the racetrack. In particular, London Racetrack, which is my local racetrack here in Sydney. It's a very short, tight, technical circuit. A lot of twists and turns, not so much high speed. So the car didn't need to be a big car, didn't need to be overly powerful, but it needed to be nimble and good in cornering and good in handling, which is what I wanted. So looking at that, I started with cars like the Mazda MX-5, the ND series, and the Subaru BRZ/Toyota 86. Two very popular cars that are used for track days. Similar kind of torque. A little bit more power for the BRZ 86 pairing, but the car weighs a bit more. So the BRZ 86 weigh 1,275 kilos versus only 1,000 kilos for the MX-5. Both of them have a 17 by 7 inch wheel, so tyre wise I can't put too much of a bigger tyre on them to get any more grip around the track. And the problem is they're both naturally aspirated. So if I really wanted to go faster, after I pulled weight out, wasn't much else I could do, because to go down the path of turbocharging or supercharging those cars requires engineering, and that's not really something that's a DIY in your garage style of project. So I decided the car probably needed to be turbocharged, because that way I can do a flash tune at home. I can put on bolt-on intercooler kits and turbocharge bits and pieces, right? Blow-off valves, intercooler piping kits, exhaust systems, stuff like that that'll make more power very easily. I can bolt on in the garage. There's no engineering required, so nice and straightforward. So the first turbocharged car I looked at was a Polo GTI, the 6R generation with the 1.8. Good candidate, quite a new car. 141 kilowatts, 250 newton meters of torque in a very small package. Pretty light, 1,242 kilograms. Smallish tire, but with a light car that's small, you don't really need a huge tire to be quick around the track. The limiting factor on that was it's front wheel drive and has no LSD. London's a very tight track, very twisty track, and maybe an LSD is a really good thing to have. So the next two cars I looked at were the Volkswagen Scirocco R and the Renault Megane RS250 and RS265. They were competitors in the market in that sort of 2010 to 2016 period of time. Similar weight, similar packaging, about the same kind of power, 188 kilowatts for the Scirocco, 184 for the Megane. Megane, however, has the front LSD. So of those two cars, probably the Megane's the better track car. Unfortunately, kind of limited in parts availability because it's a bit French and a bit weird. Also, I've already had one, and so I kind of didn't want to own another one of those again. But I think I might have been on the right track with the Volkswagen Audi group there. So I had a look further in there, and there were another couple of models that seemed to be suitable. So a Mark 7 Golf GTI Performance Edition that has the LSD in the front, okay? So good candidate, 169 kilowatts, 350 newton meters, comes in auto and manual, can fit 5 people, about 1,364 kilos, reasonable sized wheel on there so I can get a bigger tire. So not a bad option. What I didn't like was the P-Plater tracksuit wearing crackle tune association. I just couldn't do that. I'm just too old for that now, and being associated with those guys, so I counted the Golf GTI out. However, in the Mark 6 they did the Golf R. That was all-wheel drive. 188 kilowatts and 330 Newton meters. Okay, and then it's twin, the Audi S3. Sort of same two cars, same platform, same gearboxes, same engine, same suspension, same everything. Just in an Audi frock and a bit more expensive. The Audis were actually $66,000 new, look at that. Not bad options either of those. Then there's BMW's 135i. Looked very interesting as a candidate. Brand new, $75,000, but you can have that for $15,000 to $20,000 today. 3-litre inline 6-cylinder twin turbocharged with 225 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters of torque. Comes in manual or auto. Rear-wheel drive, 1,460 kilos, and with stagger wheels you can put a decent sized tyre on the rear. That was a very serious candidate, but that's not what I bought. Let's have a look at what I actually chose. So the mystery car, brand new price, $98,916. And this is a contemporary car. This car was built in 2008 through 2015. It's a 4-cylinder with 200 kilowatts and 350 Newton meters, comes in manual or auto, is all-wheel drive, weighs 1,415 kilos, so 60 kilos less than the TTRS. You can see there's the subframe and uprights, also alloy. Body panels, alloy and steel. It has adjustable suspension, just like the TTRS, and has an 18 by 9 inch wheel with a 245 tyre front and rear from factory. So I can put a big tyre on that. What's that mystery car? Well, if you want the poor man's Audi TTRS, that's called an Audi TTS. So yeah, an Audi TTS. This is the 8J series, launched in 2008. And I know what you're thinking. Come on, Damon. The Audi TT is a hairdresser's car. It's not really a serious sports car, is it? And I think that's where a lot of people have gone wrong. The good news about that is that's why this car is such an amazing bargain right now. $97,000+ brand new, and I've been watching these for sale for a while. High K ones I've seen for as low as 17 to 18,000. Very low K ones later in the build in 2011, 2012, it's closer to 25 to 30,000. This specific example has 173,000 kilometers on the clock. I bought it locally here in Sydney. The guy was asking 24,000, I offered him 20 cash. He took it. And yeah, at first the guys from Automotive Superstore were like, really, a TT? But trust me, and as the figures explain in the diagrams, the specs on this thing are actually pretty impressive. So finding lap times for London for the TTRS in this generation so that I can have a car to compare to is actually kind of hard. I've looked through a whole bunch of sessions and I can't find any. And so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to choose some cars that I think are really good performance benchmarks for this to compete against. The first one I'm going to aim for is the Yaris GR, a car that, if you want to buy one second hand, is around $45,000 to $55,000 now. Very well respected car, a driver's car. And if you do a quick study of all of the lap times for GR Yarises in the last 2 years around London, and you average out to get rid of driver variants and car modification variants, you end up with an average lap time around the 57-second mark. I'll let you on a little secret. I've already been to the track in this. I actually took it to the track 3 days after I bought it, and all I did was put on a set of 200 treadwear 235 width semi-slicks, and that's it. It's just how I bought the car. And I did a 55.3 in the second session. So already a good 2 seconds up the road to the average GR Yaris in this 20 grand hairdresser's car. Not bad, right? But I reckon there's a hell of a lot more to come from this car. I think if I tune it up, pull a bit of weight out, this thing's going to be seriously fast. It's going to be maybe even, or it's certainly going to be high-level sports car fast, may even be scare a few supercars fast around London. So you can see I've already got a mountain of parts here to get started on this project. You're going to see a host of DIYs and technical stories over the coming weeks and months. I've got detailing stuff to do, servicing stuff to do, performance enhancements with intercools and exhausts and ECU tunes and stuff to do. I'm going to hop up the audio system. I'm going to do some sound deadening. I've got some race buckets. I've got some race tires. I've got my race helmet. It should be a pretty good time. So subscribe if you want to catch up with all of the updates on this project. Leave a comment down below and I'll see you on the next one.